Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this Simpler Futures recap video, we're going to talk about the 3 trades that we put on in the chat room today, and hopefully by seeing this you'll get an idea of some of the directional bias that I am employing in this market right now. I pick a side. I don't go into any market or any day neutral, and if I can't pick a side, and I am relegated to absolutely saying I don't know if there's any way in which the market's leaning up or down, I will absolutely choose not to trade that day. Or if there's a particular event that I feel could suddenly shift or increase the risk in the market because of FOMC, ECB, I will choose oftentimes not to trade those events. And that might seem very counterintuitive or counter to what you might see out there, where a lot of traders are jumping into the market on FOMC, jumping into the market on ECB or crude oil inventories or any kind of major event, scheduled or unscheduled. I will look at it not from the perspective of how much could I make, but how much, if I don't have directional bias, could I lose? That's really the big question for me. So let me walk you through the time frames and the setups, just a few of them that we put on today. So predominantly, I am bullish in the equity space. I am very uninterested in shorts. I'm very uninterested in whether or not there's that crash that everybody's warning us of for the better part of, I don't know, 5 years, right? I don't want to trade in that direction. So you might say, well, Rog, that sounds a really big picture. That sounds almost like a macro if you were to dive into the fundamentals and why you think that is. But while that might be true, to a certain degree it is, it's still going to dictate which direction I might take a 15-minute time frame. And think of it this way, and maybe this will be something that will be, I hope, something that really changes your trading for the best. There's a mental transmission. Yes, there's a transmission in your brain. There are gears. There are gears in your brain. And that means that in order to go from bullish to bearish is a process. Imagine shifting your car flying down the highway, and all of a sudden you go to neutral, which is you're still flying down the highway, but just slowly losing speed, but then you want to go to reverse. You're going to break your car. And yet traders do that to themselves all the time, as if it's really easy to shift the mental transmission in our brain from bullish to bearish. I don't think that's the case. I've been trading for 30 years. I've literally watched and taught thousands of traders, and you very rarely will be able to do that. And I don't think it's actually a good idea. I think it's good to a certain point, put blinders on one side of the market so that you are sometimes flat, but you have a particular setup that you're looking for in a particular direction. So this would take me back to the premium video and the setup that I shared with you all yesterday. Now, I put this in the recap video, hoping that some of you will be able to benefit from this. And one of them was the 240-minute S&P. I said, I'm looking for a buy, looking for an option, looking for a breakout through 82 or a pullback to 27.75. So a lot of our traders today were in the S&P long, whether it was from that particular setup that I shared with everybody yesterday, or whether it was from this 15-minute setup that we did today, right around 11 a.m. Eastern, where we bought 27.82 and also 27.85 and took it to 20. Actually, we're still in it. We're looking for 27.92. Some of the traders took out 90, but we're looking for 92. We had another trade today, and this is, again, picking a side. And the other trade was a crude oil buy on a 120-minute time frame. So not everything is day trading. Sometimes there's slightly longer term setups. And in this case, I looked for a pullback to 66.25, 66.10, or a momentum trade through 66.40, right? So both the 25 and the 40 trades triggered on August crude, and we got long. And we got long at that zone with a target, an initial target at 75, right? So what I want you to think about is, are your markets that you feel you have a directional emphasis or a directional belief in? Those should be your priority. If you really can't find those markets where you feel there's a directional tendency, I would not put that near the top of your watch list. And then even when it comes down to shorter term time frames, think about, can you trade in that direction only? Now, the more you do this, I think you'll be better, more adroit at that mental transmission. But for a little while, and humor me for a bit, and see if picking one side of the market every day doesn't improve your trading. We went 3 for 3 today, gang. So I'm telling you right now, it does work. So I hope you join us in the members area so you could see what we're doing. But that S&P trade I gave you yesterday, that's absolutely an example of that picking a side mentality. I'll see you in the next update.